Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Jolly Jarvis, and today we are talking around how to provide value without giving away all the information, giving away stuff that people should pay for. And this question has come in from one of the listeners, so thank you very much, Vicky, for this question. Before I get cracking on basically, how do I give value without giving it all away? I am going to do a super quick update for you on selling without sleeves, and then we will come back to this question and go through what I would suggest, what the issues are, and the pitfalls that you will want to avoid. So keep listening. So as a quick update for you, we've got some new copy that's going to go live by the time this is being recorded on Tuesday afternoon. So by the time this podcast goes out on Thursday, that will hopefully be live, as long as nothing crazy has gone wrong. That's really exciting. We've got YouTube videos, ads going out this week, video ads going out this week. So that's another exciting element. Then we've got TikTok, who we are working on from an organic point of view. Once we've seen what performs well organically, having done, doing testing, we will then look to go live with ads. So really excited around that platform and the opportunities that are available there. As far as our targets, so I am a big fan of having a financial target for every month. Having it up on that whiteboard, for those of you which are in the Selling Without Sleeves group, you will see that I put up a photo of my my whiteboard with all the grids, everything else ready to be filled in a couple of weeks ago. That was populated and that has been exceeded. So I've already exceeded my target for January. Really excited about that. The vast majority of that revenue, over 50% of that revenue, came from existing clients who were renewing some sort of package with me, whether that be an add-on after being on the accelerator or one of my retainer clients. So I'm super excited to be continuing to work with those guys, and from a numbers point of view, the volume of people who do resubscribe and continue to work with me is over the 80% mark. So it's really great that I can have such an impact on people and they can continue to want to work with me. That being said, that is where we are. So that means next month I haven't got as many people renewing, and so it will be looking towards newer clients and pulling in that revenue from new opportunities. So which is a harder sell. So it would be interesting to see how I perform when my target is even higher next month. So watch this space. But that's the nature of what you're looking at is you're looking at the opportunities that are available now. Bringing those opportunities in. It was just timing wise that these people were in a position where they were coming towards the end, or they were at the end of their sessions with me and wanted to continue. And so obviously you don't have that every month. People work with me for 3 to 4 months at a time, so they come to renew at different times. There's quite a few that came to renew this month, but next month I only have 2. So if I pull those in, brilliant. Yeah, you're looking towards then. If I'm not able to generate more income with my current leads, with my current clients, then you're looking towards fresher, newer leads, which are obviously harder work. So there we go. The question from Vicky was how to provide value. Okay, and her concern was, how do I give value without giving it all away? There's obviously, you've got social media, everyone expects to have actionable value, quality value nowadays, and valuable bits of information from you, and that's how you show your worth. That's how you demonstrate your knowledge, your ability, and the impact that you can have on them. And so obviously, yes, it's really important to provide value, and so often people are worried over providing too much value, providing everything, all the information, so people can go off and they can do it on their own. And be rest assured, before we start on this topic, that the vast majority of people, even when they are given it on a plate, do not go away and take the action by themselves. Partly because it's having that confidence that you're applying it in the right way. If they knew they were applying it in the right way, then they wouldn't need guidance. But the vast majority of people are like, does this relate to me? Am I doing it right? And so they need that sense check. They need to have that clarity from the person who has produced that information. Equally, it comes down to motivation. I've been to events and seminars where people have stood up and they've been like, I'm giving away all my information here, but 95% of you will do nothing about it. And that is the scary truth, is that there's the consuming of information and then there's the applying of information. It's nice to sit there and consume information. Applying it can be a considerably more difficult and harder work to do. So what I would say though, when you are producing content, when you are providing value, when you're providing information, is that you want to provide clarity on what's important and why it's important. So you're basically, selling them why they need to focus on these areas by educating them. Okay. Now that is genuine education. That isn't telling them something that isn't true just to get them in a position where they're going to buy your stuff. Okay. This is saying to them, this is what you need to work on. This is what's important. Okay. Now, if you have taster bits of information that you do not charge for, think about it, as a pyramid, your ideal clients at the top, and coming into that pyramid, what do they need at that bottom level when they're entering your world? What do they need? And so thinking about it that way, what would that ideal client, what would your ideal client have wanted when they first started to get to know you? What was their biggest problem? And so you can give them a little solution for that problem, a little taster of what it's like to work with you, the quality of the information that you provide, or the quality of product. And so from there, they're able to make an informed decision as to, this person has an impact. Yes, this product does what I want it to do. I want more of that. Okay, as a rule of thumb, the how, especially when it's down to individual level. Okay, you've got individuals who are wanting to find out, how do I do this in my business? How do I generate leads in my business? How do I, I'm thinking from my point of view, the questions that I get asked, what's wrong with my sales process? I've had somebody who's been in my world for quite some time and they wanted to know specific information about themselves. They were very quick to get on the free stuff, very quick to take advantage of the opportunities. They rated what I did. They rate what I do. They're not rated. They continue to rate what I do. But I said to them, this sort of information, I would have to get more details from you, and we would have to have a call. It would be something that you'd have to pay for, because it's, from my point of view, it's going to take my time, it's going to take my expertise. I earned that expertise over years and years of doing sales, and the financial investment and the time investment that I've made in upskilling myself. And so that would be applied to this scenario. So why wouldn't I charge for that? And they're going to get clarity, and they're going to be in a position where they're going to make lots of money off the back of it. But that person was keen to get something for free again, and I just had to draw the line. I kept with that stance, and I saw them put out posts on social media again going, oh, is anybody an expert? I got tagged in the post, and so people were like referring back to me, and then one of my competition jumped in and offered to provide advice for free. And if that person wants to offer advice for free, if your competitor wants to do that, that's totally up to them. But you can think, well, I might lose that customer to that person if only I'd provided that information. But I was pretty certain that this person would continue to take free stuff without parting with money. And they'd already done stuff, they'd already implemented stuff in their business which had generated them money, that they'd publicly said was down to me. And so I wasn't in a position where I was willing to do that again, and I shouldn't do. It's very nice sometimes to get testimonials, to get references, to get people banging the drum for you, but you do have to draw a line on those which are doing the whole free riding thing. The how, particularly when it's specific to that person's business, needs to be paid for. If you have charged other people for this service, for this information, then you can't, I can't morally live with the fact then that I'm charging one person and not another. If it's outdated, if it was a long time ago, that's very different. But something which is current, that somebody's currently paid for, needs to continue to be paid for. I'm very into fairness. And that for me is where I sit. But obviously it's each to your own. If you feel comfortable with that, and you can justify that to yourself, then that's brilliant. But that's not the place that I was in. The same goes for IP. So in the intellectual property side of stuff. So if you know something, if you've, like I said, as that example, something because you've invested in yourself, you've created this understanding, you've packaged it as a learning. Then somebody's saying, hey, can I pick your brains over a coffee? Absolutely not. Unless you're going to take me somewhere rather nice and get me afternoon tea, it's going to come nowhere near how much I would charge for this option. talking approximately, talking about what we can do, how I can help. Brilliant. Yeah, I'll have a call with you. But am I going to exchange my knowledge for a cup of, well, it's not going to be coffee because I don't even like stuff, but hot chocolate, even with whipped cream and marshmallows, it's not going to come up to the level that it needs to justify my time investment, my knowledge investment. You would not, for example, and it gets really awkward with knowledge because people feel like you're keeping something from them that you could freely give away. But putting this into context, right? If your business was a shop, okay, so even if you're a coach, if your business was a shop, yeah, if that knowledge, that little bit of information was on a shelf and you had a friend or a relative who was like, hey, you've got that and that's what I want. Okay, if they walked into your shop, took it off the shelf and walked out without paying, you would be like, what on earth? And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because that's socially just not acceptable. That's shoplifting. So don't let people shoplift your brain, because that's what they're doing when they're picking your brain in exchange for nothing or very, very little. Yeah. If it's going to have an impact on them, it's going to have an impact on their business or their life, then that impact should be paid for. If you want to go down the route of testimonials or, swapping of knowledge and skills swaps, then that's absolutely fine. That's down to you. But make sure you are getting something in return, because people don't value stuff they get for free. In short, how do you provide value without giving it all away? Well, you're very clear on, you talk about the what, you talk about the why, but you don't talk about the how. The how is something people pay for. The implementation, the actions, the steps they need to take to make that happen, the product that's going to make that happen, they have to pay for. Okay, if you are getting people wanting to pick your brains, to give it something a try, then be very clear with your boundaries. Be clear with your boundaries before it happens. Preparations and going through the phrases of what you would say if somebody asks you, so that you are confident with the way that you deliver it. Is what I would encourage you to do. I hope that helps, Vicky. It is something that happens a lot. People can overgive, and when I've talked around challenges before, and that's an area where it's very easy en masse to show value. You want to show value, you want to give value, but give people too much value and they're under this impression that in 5 days, with little snippets of information each day, they have enough information to go away and replicate something that you would charge people high ticket for, which is unrealistic. And so you want to manage those people's expectations from the start. This is a little taste of the bigger picture. It's actionable, it's enough for you to see change, but it's not enough to create that outcome, that full outcome that you are after. And if it has impact, particularly a financial impact, but creates a change for that person, then why wouldn't they pay for it? Why shouldn't they pay for it? So be brave, be clear with your boundaries, and I hope that helps. So thanks very much for sending that question in. If anybody else has a question, please do send it in. I will kind of insert it, one question a week, when I do these sessions, will be really fab. So anyway, bye for now, guys. Happy selling.